Alright, it's Liam. I want to thank everyone at the Oasis Podcast, as you were.
Hello and welcome back to the Oasis Podcast, the ultimate audio guide to Oasis in the mad whirlwind of the Oasis reunion week. Today I'm talking to our good friend Ryan, who runs the Oasis reunion account on Twitter and Instagram and primarily on TikTok. TikTok, for all the Britpop generation lot, is a modern social media platform that young people use. So get with it, Grandad. I have actually recorded, if you listen to the podcast I put out yesterday, I've recorded another part with Richard, and that's going to come out, but I thought this conversation I've had with Ryan I should probably put out first because it relates to stuff that's happening tomorrow as I record this, which is then Friday for you, and Saturday when the tickets go on sale. So we talk a lot about the how it works and the ticketing process and the prices and all that sort of stuff. So I think hence this is coming out first, and then the stuff I talk about with Richard is much more about the gig itself, like about what the lineup could be, what songs they could be. So in a couple of days, probably on Saturday, that one with Richard will be hitting you as well, because that's a bit less time sensitive. So hope you guys are all right. I hope you're enjoying the whirlwind with me. Let's cross over to me and Ryan. Welcome back to the Oasis Podcast. This is now 5 days in a row, which is, I think the most I ever did before was 2 days in a row. So it's pretty mad, but we're riding the tiger all the way through, maybe every single day until the first gig, who knows. But anyway, I'm joined today by our good friend and the person behind the hugely successful Oasis reunion media empire. Ryan, how you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Well, how do you think, mate? Come on.
Must be non-stop, I'd imagine.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyway, people have heard me sort of talking about it. Come on, tell me about your. Well, first off, right? So you started. When did you start like the Oasis reunion? And it's across social media, isn't it? But TikTok's your main one.
Yes, it's on all channels. So X, Facebook, YouTube. But I'd started it as a TikTok experiment. My teenagers have TikToks. My lad does gigging and music, so I'd sort of got more exposure to it, having never used it and just assumed that I shouldn't be installing it, being of a certain age. But then I started to see the benefit of it, and I thought, well, let's create an Oasis fan account. So I'd always thought about doing that, or maybe a podcast, but that's not me. So I put it together, and I always thought that we would get here, right? So as long as they were still, Liam and Noel were still doing music, that this day would come. So I thought, well, let's call it the Oasis reunion, and within a few years, 5 years, this might come reality. So it's taken just under 18 months, I guess, in reality. But my original idea was to just post, as part of my experiment when I started it, was just post clips of them mentioning the reunion. So anytime they had a diggity or mentioned it about, I think it will happen, or that I just posted short clips of those. And that's what got me my initial set of followers in those first weeks, and it snowballed quite quickly. So I never doubted there'd be a reunion, and I posted clips, and then eventually started to run out. So I then started to post videos of going to gigs. I go to quite a few of the Liam and Noel gigs. I always go to at least a couple of the gigs on a tour, and especially Liam's one recently. So that I did the Liam Sheffield walk on because I knew everyone was online waiting for that, and that video blew up. And then he dedicated Half the World Away to his little brother, and that one has about 900,000 views on TikTok. So original content is the king. So actually that's what kind of tends to blow up. So trying to use my super fandom combined with sort of doing TikTok.
But I know from the bits we've done in the past, like you are very good, you're very skilled at editing. Like you've helped me out on some things in the past. You know your stuff technically, you're a good editor, you've got an eye for an edit. And so I think, yeah, that actually the TikTok, and I know that your little like the way you play with logos and things like that, like in the different fonts and just little bits of video coming in and out,
Yeah.
you can do that really well. And so I imagine in that sort of short form content, it's just ideal. And hold on, let me just go back. You said that the TikTok you did 900,000 views.
Yeah, nearly 900,000 at the moment. It's pinned at the top. My biggest one was just when Noel did the pedals show, because obviously every fan account posted that in some form or another. I just initially clipped it, but then I did do a bit more effort and created a duo with Liam and Nebworth mixed with Noel playing it in the pedal show. But just the little clip of him doing that and smiling, that's 1.5 million views and still going. But that's not original content, so I don't get credit for that or any payment for that, for example. But yeah, it's just getting used to getting the right sort of video and the right hashtags. Also the thumbnail. If they visit your profile, then you need a good thumbnail as they're scrolling. But I think generally it goes on to the feed, the For You page. So trying to get yourself onto the For You page of people is the goal. You win some, you lose some. TikTok algorithm is a mystery. So sometimes you'll post something and it just won't distribute your video, and it's really frustrating. Sometimes it just catches fire. So yeah, that Liam first walk-on in Sheffield, it really blew up because obviously everyone was waiting to see that. But it was also posting it as fast as Spotlight. I was literally putting that video together as I was walking back to the car park from the arena.
No, see, it's just that the numbers on TikTok are just mad. And obviously it's just it delivers it in that way, doesn't it? Like TikTok, and if people if people haven't been on TikTok, I know it is a sort of generally a younger social media platform. I know a lot of people aren't yet on it. I'm not on it a huge amount, but then you've got like YouTube and Instagram Reels that have kind of just like nicked the idea, or YouTube Shorts. So it's that thing about it just fills up your entire phone screen, and you watch something, you swipe up, watch something else, swipe up, watch something else, and then you just keep, it's not like, so like for instance, 1.5 million views on that one thing. Like the entire history of the Oasis podcast has done like 1.2 million listens. Right, so that one video has had more eyeballs on it or ears on it than the entire history of the Oasis podcast.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's like, I've always found that as well. Like you don't get as much abuse. Like if I put a podcast on YouTube, and my podcasts now automatically go on YouTube, I don't like edit them. It's like an automatic thing through an app that it just puts it out. And so and it's stupid as well because like I have the song clips in there. So I could never actually make any money on YouTube podcasts because, as soon as YouTube spots music, it just instantly demonetizes it. So it's like, okay, so there's no point, and you're never going to make any money out of it. But given the choice of like editing two versions, one with music and one without, I'm like, oh, sod it. I'll just let it automatically do it. I don't do this to get paid anyway. But it is it is just the number of views, like James Hargreaves on YouTube as well. Like he's got stuff that's done like 1 million views on a YouTube video. It is just a very, very different platform.
Yeah, and I have to give props to him. I saw his reaction video on Tuesday, but then haven't seen a few for a while and noticed he's on 76,000 subscribers. So he's on his way to the 100k subscribers, which is you get the silver play button that you put on the shelf behind you in your video. So I imagine this reunion surely is going to get him there before long, and presumably the monetization goes up when he starts to get up those thresholds. So he's killing it, smashing it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? He's very, I mean, to be fair to James as well, like this is his job now, right? That's the thing with a podcast, like, this could never be my job. Like, I hardly make any money out of it at all. So like, but yeah, like with James, he's actually managed to make it his full-time job. I think he does like guitar teaching and stuff on the side. Have you been pleased with, have you been taken aback by how quickly your channel's taken off?
Yeah, it's good fun. And I would say I got about 20k followers within that initial couple of months, which is kind of what helps you get kind of hooked into it. So it kind of snowballed over the first 2-3 months, I would say, to about 20k followers, and then it's been a kind of slow trickle for the remainder of that last sort of year and a half, and up at 36k now. So it's at the Oasis reunion on TikTok, but also on the other channels as well. Don't get much traction on the others in terms of followers, so if anyone wants to go Instagram or X at the Oasis reunion, give us a boost. YouTube does quite well. I've got like 6,000 subscribers there. TikTok, you do get monetization with over 10,000 followers, but you got to do original content, and they flag any little thing, so it's just figuring out how you get something to actually not get demonetized. Is part of the challenge. But it's very low compared to YouTube. It's just a little bit of spare pocket money. Certainly not compared to the effort being put in as well. So it's mainly for the fun and interaction.
No, I got you. It is, it's just a different world. I mean, I do have a TikTok account, but just to watch. I've never uploaded anything. So yeah, I think we might need to get the Oasis podcast over there doing something. But yeah, especially if we're going to do 900,000 views. Come on, mate, we've got to make that happen. But anyway, so what was the because you were there while I was at Reading. You were sort of an integral part of this, right? So I'm live streaming at Reading, and you were then capturing it and messaging it, because then it was you putting that out that then kind of got a load of views back.
Yeah, so I was hoping that Liam at Reading would be on iPlayer, and saw that it wasn't. So I'd just been looking at that, and then so sat down on my phone, and then saw that you were live, and you were live for the walk-on. So sat and watched that, and then you did right that you weren't going to bother, but then, as you explained, you then thought, why not? Because you were quite far back and stuff. And then I saw you go live again while I was waiting to watch Liam, because Liam wasn't on till 11:30 on iPlayer. So then saw you go live again, watch Live Forever and Eye on the Walrus. So I appreciate that you were live streaming. It was good fun. But I actually didn't know about the rumours about something was going to come up at the end, whereas I found that out kind of after the fact. So I was sat there watching, and then it happened.
Yeah, that was it. So basically, talking to Secret Drug Addict, he was obviously backstage, and he said, "Look to the screens at the end. Look to the screens at the end. There's going to be an announcement on the screen." And so, so hence we kind of knew, and people were saying in the messages, because I live streamed Live Forever, I'm the Walrus, and then it was like people were saying, put it on the screen, and I'm like, oh yeah, focus on the screen, and then it does pop up, and then was it you that then said like spin the camera around as well?
Yeah, it says spin the camera around just to see you, because no one ever does that. But yeah, I'd also commented about put the camera on the screen, but I meant more from my experience of going to Noel and Liam gigs. If you do a video of the screen, then it looks like a proper video when someone's looking at it on social media, rather than one of these videos where Liam or Noel is 2 pixels in the middle of a massive blank space. So I didn't know. I had seen Liam's tweet about can everyone stop going on about Tuesday, let's take one day at a time. But I'd been on holiday. I was a bit out of the loop in the days leading up to and over that weekend. So I just wasn't in that zone where I'd been keeping up like I am now. So yeah, and I think you had 200 viewers on the live at the time. So yeah, it was a bit of good fun, and I wasn't expecting what happened.
It was nice, and I think I said it on the thing, but like, there's a couple of people around me, like young 16-year-old like street kids, going like, "Man's doing Instagram live like that." I don't know if it's you that said this on text to me, but it was lucky that where we were in Reading like had decent internet, like 4G, because I think it's 5G actually. Because don't think they had anything in Leeds, like Nebworth, no chance. So actually, the fact that Reading Festival is literally right by the town centre, it's great. The internet's absolutely fine. So hence I was able to live stream brilliantly.
Yeah, I think I said to you afterwards that I was quite surprised to be able to sit and watch a live stream of a gig. I think that's the first time I've actually, and especially a decent 5G one, So because my lad went to Leeds Festival, they'd all finished their GCSEs. The whole country of teenagers went to Leeds Festival, and we couldn't barely get a message from them about whether they were still alive or not as parents. So to actually see you be able to stream was quite surprising. But like you say, it's in a good spot.
So you were taken aback, were you? Were you sort of shocked in your living room?
Yeah, and I think I'd seen a comment about the Blossoms showing the message on your live as well. But because I was watching your live, I didn't overthink it. But it's interesting about that happening. I know the Blossoms are an AS's friends, I guess, but does that mean they're supporting? I don't know.
Well, they didn't say they are. So basically, he was on what's his name, Tom Ogden. I think that's his name. Was on Radio 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said like he said, "Oh, you had it pop up on the screen. Does that mean that you're supporting them?" And they said, "No, it was just like a thing that we were able to do to like to sort of help promote it and and get the excitement up. But it wasn't like he goes, I'd love to, but I don't think so. I've not heard anything." But I mean, that sounds like bullshit to me. Like if you've if you're close enough to actually be putting that out there. And I wonder if like they were pissed off, like if the Oasis people were pissed off because it did go up a few minutes early.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing that on I think it must be on the Instagram live comments, something about Blossoms.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe
Blossoms
that's
have
where I
announced
saw it.
it.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
because surely they would have
yeah.
wanted the exclusive to come when Oasis did, or when Liam did it.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. I don't think they needed to help promote just to the audience of 20,000 they had at Withenshaw Park that night. I think the whole world knew as soon as it went up, so it seems odd to have gone to that effort.
So how are you feeling about the reunion generally?
Yeah, great. Although I've been, just waiting for it to happen. It still took me by surprise, and also because I'd been away on holiday and only back a few days, it really threw me. But I have believed that in the last year or so that it's all these clues that we've seen, they're now bearing fruit. But obviously at the time they were dismissed. But I think the divorce as well was that's when I kind of thought this has to be on. How can it not be? And I know you were sensitive about it when you're on Sky News, for example, and it's hard. But I do think that has obviously unlocked a key. And obviously it's not all about that. We don't know. There's no information about Sarah, and this is pure speculation. It might be totally stupid, but it feels like there's no way it was happening without that. Is it me or Oasis? I don't know. It's not. It sounds crass to talk about, but
like you said, I have had to mention that, like when I've done the media stuff. But I felt really uncomfortable about it actually because, I think I have tried to drop in there that whole like, the first thing is you think it's sad. It's sad for the children. They've got two young boys. Their parents are divorced. That would go or going through divorce or whatever. Like that's a horrible thing. And also, like, she is a human being, like Sarah McDonald is a human being. And for me and I've used the term like, so that barrier was removed. And I thought that's horrible. That's really dehumanizing. But I've thought about it. I'm like, I can't even really think about another way to say it. Like, and in that sort of, and in that quick forum when you're just answering quick questions and trying to be, upbeat and sort of, and sort of flippant and quick. Well, you can't then go into like a big debate about, how to talk about it. You've just got to make the point, and you can't not make the point because that is a really important factor. Because that's always the question that's asked. Why now? Why now? It's like, well, Noel got divorced. You can't ignore that.
No, and the fact that you said that caveat before you said it was really well done. Actually, considering you were live on Sky News, it was excellent. But I feel that Oasis is a part of Noel, and this was always coming. I mean, as he says, and Liam said it in various clips over the years, I am Oasis, kind of thing. So this had to be an elephant in the room, depending how much Sarah really did have an issue with Liam. So I'm sure it's more complex than that. It's not just about Oasis, but for me, it feels like Noel, he had to do this at some point. As if they were still in music, still both well. Feels like this was inevitable.
Yeah, and as far as we know, like that's all we know, isn't it? Like that she's never done interviews. It's never been talked about. Like Noel's it must have been kind of a bit of a like a a no-go list when he's done
Yeah.
interviews and stuff, because he's never been asked about it. And it's unpleasant as well. We're not fucking celebrity gossip merchants. That's not what this is about. But you can't ignore it, because that is the ultimately what's the difference, when they ask that question. So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, so it is happening. Does it feel as weird to you as it does feel to me to be saying that, like, Oasis are having a reunion and you're going to try and book tickets for it? Can you believe it?
Yeah, it feels a bit like a dream. I'm still on coming back off holiday, so it's kind of I've been able to put more focus on it than is probably healthy. But yeah, but it's snowballed obviously since the announcement, and then we've got on to what are the dates, what are the venues straight away, and now we're on to pre-sales, hotels. Are they going to announce the international date? So it's been a bit of a non-stop whirlwind. Like you said with Richard this morning, it's like, hang on a minute, we haven't had time to step back and go, this is happening. What we're waiting for is happening. So I still feel like I haven't had that chance, but I'm it's ecstatic about it. It doesn't feel weird to me. It feels like we're just where we should be. But it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I'm going daily on these. Like, and I'm sort of thinking, well, I've got this two-parter with Richard. I put out part one that's gone out today. We're recording this on Thursday night. I've still got part two of that to go out, which then doesn't cover the stuff that's come out today, but that's going to go out tomorrow. And so I thought, well, if I talk to you about this, but should that then go out together, or maybe I put this out on Friday, but then something else will happen tomorrow, So, oh my God, it is just
Yeah.
literally every day. It's a
Yeah.
new development.
Yeah, and what we say now is probably already going to be out of date when you drop this. But as of now, Thursday night, no one's had any emails that I've seen anyway about the pre-sale. So people have had their confirmations. Some people didn't get them, so that's been a bit of a buzz. But as far as I know, no one's had here is your pre-sale info. It's worth mentioning, I don't think you mentioned that they did send out, I got an email saying, as a loyal fan, so it was an hour before they sent the email out, general email out for the pre-sale to everybody, or at least everyone on some list, that they said you have been identified as a loyal fan. If you go and fill in this ballot form, you will get guaranteed access. And when I went through, I didn't have to fill in all my details. So I don't know if that was from the Oasis MyNet sign up that was a few months back, or earlier this year, maybe even last year, or whether it's because it bought from the website before. But I've not seen as many people with those. And that was another clue, by the way, that stuff. And the fact that Oasis have been using their social media account, it was pretty dead, to be honest. But in the last 2 years or so, they've actually been using it. They've been, jumping on, doing stuff. That just for me also was another small clue of this has to be happening. But yeah, I got the email saying you're identified, so I'm expecting. It said you were guaranteed the ballot, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to receive a pre-sale. Obviously, it still doesn't mean I'll get a ticket, but I will get a pre-sale access. Whereas other people, they've signed up to the public pre-sale ballot, so if they win, but then there's various emails out there saying you'll get the ballot by 5 p.m. or some by 7 p.m. and then there's people stating that on as blind fact on social media, Facebook, saying, oh no, it's not starting till 5. And it's like, well, actually people have different times and different emails, so either it's confusing and or there's a whole system in place here. I don't know, maybe they're going to drip feed the pre-sale across the Friday, otherwise why would they have 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. So who knows? But within 12 hours, I guess we'll know. And what's strange is normally on Ticketmaster they would have pre-sale as an event listed, but they've only got the general sale Saturday on the sites at the moment. So when the email does come, presumably it's going to have a link to a different thing, but hopefully it is Ticketmaster and Gigs and Tours. It probably will be, but we just don't know at the moment. So, and I'm quite experienced in buying tickets and that, and I've put videos on my TikTok just to help people with. Some people say it, it's all obvious, but a lot of people aren't used to doing the game you have to play in these waiting rooms and things like that. So it's good to have some advice on that, I think.
No, I've ballsed it up before.
Yeah.
I've ballsed it up before, like the problem, like that thing where I think I can't remember, I think it was because I booked for the boxing for the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight that I'm going to. Oh, which by the way, Liam is supposed to be playing at.
Oh, yeah.
And so therefore, do you think Noel could come out? That could be like the effectively like the press conference. That wouldn't be too bad.
Oh,
Because otherwise we've got Liam still got that and Malta,
okay.
but on his docket before Oasis. But I don't know. See, that's why I was surprised it was this early. I thought like, yeah, once Malta's out the way, if they are doing something, then that'll be then. But yeah, sorry. So I was trying to book like the tickets, and it was the first time I'd had to deal with this like the new version of the Ticketmaster app where you go to the map of Wembley.
Yeah,
And so it's like, okay, I'll have that one, that one. And then it comes up like, you've got like you waiting and waiting, wait, you jump in and you've got like they're all open basically. And you're like, okay, I'll go that one and that one. And it came up like, I don't know, 400 quid. This is for two. And I'm like, oh shit, no, I'm not paying that. So I went back a bit, okay, how about that one and that one? And it came up like, I don't know, 100 and I think I'd agreed with my mate, we'll pay no more than 150 quid each. I'm like, okay. So we'd gone like bam, bam. And then it comes up like you can't leave an empty seat on the end of the row. And I'm like, oh
yes,
shit,
yeah.
okay. So then you have to choose again. But then by the time it came back out again and back in,
Oh, you'd be gone,
it's all gone. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh God. So I'm then looking back around again, like to try and find something else. And it's like, so yeah, so that's the one thing I'd say is when you are, I mean, number one, yeah, go and check out the Oasis Reunion TikTok that breaks it down. But also look and think about where you want to go, be
Mm,
ready to like pick and yeah, and be aware of like how much it's likely to be because they're going to disappear.
yeah,
But I don't know. I mean, they have announced three more, which I thought was really interesting because they've not like sold out yet. Normally like what happens with these things is like they announce like with Liam's gigs like last time around, it's like they announce them and then it's like they all sell out. They leave them on sale for like 3 days, whatever.
yeah,
Then when they realize, okay, we're fine, then they announce another one. Whereas
yeah,
here, they must have just had so many inquiries through that like pre-sale confirmation and stuff that they
yeah.
know it can sell out. They probably had enough
And over.
inquiries
Yeah,
just to literally do it. So they've already released another three. And as per your really good little kind of calendar, which is great, and I'll put a link into that in the description.
yeah,
So we can see there's still lots and lots of dates, that's
yeah,
obviously what they're planning.
Yeah, and I guess it just depends how many rest days they need for Liam and also to transfer to the next gig. So they're probably going to need at least a couple of days to do that to the next venue. So I guess that's the limit. I assume everyone but Liam could go, consecutive nights probably. But it does feel like Cardiff on Sunday or Monday as an extra day would is kind of inevitable, I think. I don't think they'll move to put a new first gig on the Thursday in Cardiff because Thursday for the first one, I don't know. So hopefully they don't do that, and the first gig is the first gig, especially if people buy tickets for that.
And what are you trying for?
Yeah, I definitely want to go to the first one if I can, one way or another, whether I get a ticket this weekend or get one eventually. Going to Liam's first one was awesome because obviously you don't have the spoilers, you didn't know the set list. So that's why I wanted to do that, and I did. So obviously Manchester is local, but Sheffield is pretty local as well. So I thought I have to do that. It's all a surprise. So fingers crossed I can do that. Heaton Park is obviously our local Manchester. I'm not a fan of the park gigs. I went to Finsbury Park 2002 with Oasis, I think, and just the sound's awful. It just depends. I've never been to Heaton Park. People say it's good. We've got the good tram links now to it and things like that. But I'm just not a fan. My lads and my teenagers are probably going to be going, so maybe I go along on the same day they go. But I'll be less bothered about that. I probably prefer a stadium gig. I prefer arenas. The Co-op Live for Liam was awesome. So it's a shame they're not doing like a 50-night residency there. I know you went as well. I thought it was absolutely great arena, and so it's a shame it has to be open air stuff, but this is what we've got, I guess.
So so that's interesting. So let's look at the ticket prices have been
Yeah,
released as well. Now this is obviously causing a bit of controversy because and something I talked about, and people ask me about, well, is it what the price is going to be? And you say, well, back in the early days of Oasis, or well, I suppose the peak of Oasis, they did deliberately keep the prices low. Like that was something they always tried to do. So like Nebworth is £22.50. And yes, inflation, right? But that was still low at the time. Other bands were charging 40, 50 quid and
yeah,
they deliberately kept it low. And so they haven't done this, but to be fair, I don't think it's completely outrageous. For what this is, most stadium, like I said, that boxing I'm going to, that's 150 quid. But I saw Beyonce, I think that must have been, I can't remember what it was now, but that was well over 100 quid. Like, and
yeah,
that's for like up in the gods. So on the pitch to see fucking Oasis, I think
yeah,
they probably could have charged 200.
yeah,
Well, they could have charged whatever they want, right? At some point, there's going to be a drop off. If
yeah,
they charged £1,000, then then they probably do one night, but they probably wouldn't have done 14. So you always have that cut off point. Um,
yeah.
but so the prices are pitch. This is for Wembley, but I think they're the same for all of them. So pitch
If you got it,
standing is 151.25.
yeah,
So the 135 with the booking fee.
yeah,
On sale Saturday, 31st of August, 9 o'clock. So it's the same for all of them. No under 14s. Under 18s must be accompanied by an adult aged 18 or over.
yeah,
This is thanks to a Brits and Pieces, actually, who put them together, who did a really good job. Seats 74.25 or £65 before booking fee. 5+ under 18s must be accompanied by an adult aged under 18 or over. So if you want to sit down, you can take 5-year-olds, but you can't take kids onto the pitch, basically,
yeah.
which
I
is
think
fair
that
enough.
yeah, that varies. So I think Cardiff's is no under fives. But yeah,
And then it
the
goes,
cheap seats are 75. Yeah, and then it goes
so
up.
cheap seats, £74.25, then seats 101.75, seats 132.75, 167.75, 206.25. And then we have this premium standing package. No under 14s, under 18s must be accompanied by an adult. Premium standing package includes one general admission ticket to the show, a limited edition merchandise item designed exclusively for the special event, a commemorative fabric wristband to remember your evening. Um, and then you go to premium seat package, 271 quid. One premium reserved seated ticket to the show, limited edition merchandise item, blah, blah, blah. So it's basically just standing and seating. So it's a little bit more expensive, but you get a seat instead of standing. Pre-show party and exhibition fan package, standing or seating. Oasis pre-show party and exhibition fan package, one priority standing or seating ticket per pre-show, party acts sorry, one priority standing ticket, pre-show party access, exhibition entry, access to a private Oasis exhibition, premium collectible item, exclusive merchandise package, exclusive numbered lithograph, commemorative laminate. So that's standing is 456 quid or seated is 506 quid. Or then you've got merchandise and exhibition fan package. Oasis merchandise and exhibition package includes one priority standing ticket, exhibition entry, access to private Oasis exhibition, premium collectible item, exclusive merchandise package, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then the same thing again, but seated. And so that's 356 quid standing or 406 quid seated. So, and I did ask Kyle, I saw on the Oasis Collectors group, people are saying, well, are you guys connected with this? Because obviously he's done the exhibition at Manchester and then he's going to take that around the country.
Yeah,
But yeah, he said no, he's not heard about that. And we sort of said, well, what is there? Because like the Kyle and Brian Garcia have basically bought everything. So what's
yeah,
left, you know? But
yeah. But
yeah,
also,
but
I
so
have
yeah,
noticed.
very bizarre.
I don't know if it's because I've not been on, but I've noticed Brian Garcia's gone quiet over the last year. And he was talking about going on the road with Brian Cannon about a year ago. Maybe it's him and his stuff. I don't know. That's maybe a thought. I don't know. Because, like I said, I don't think Noel has stuff, right? He's just, oh, I've got rid of it all. So I don't think, as you say, they've got enough, like within the Oasis camp. But maybe it's because obviously Brian Garcia's collection, I guess, is maybe rivals. Kyle's. I don't know who has the best.
No,
I
Brian's got
think
the more exclusive
Brian,
stuff.
Brian's got
Kyle's,
say the more this is stuff, original stuff that people weren't thinking of to grab at the time.
yeah, exactly. Kyle's got all the Kyle's very good with getting things signed and doing that sort of stuff. He's got probably the best sort of autograph collection. But yeah, Brian's got more original, like unique things like the V-shaped guitar from, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
things like that. So
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
I think,
yeah.
I mean, it could be. I'll drop him a message actually, but I don't think. I mean, you would think that there's enough stuff in the exhibition, the ignition vaults, that they could come up with something, but yeah, we
Yeah,
shall see. Do any of
yeah.
those take your fancy, or are you just going to try and get a ticket?
I probably just go for standing because I might be tempted to try and get to the front, especially on the first one. So you only need a basic standing to get. It's interesting because there's the standing and premium standing. Right? But all that says, at least on the Cardiff one, I don't know if your Wembley's any different, but it just says one general admission ticket to show. So that sounds like a normal standing. But obviously people are making assumptions online and just writing, oh, premium standing, that'll be access to the front bit, like you were saying about Reading, having that front section. That doesn't sound like it's that. So it actually premium standing package is one general admission and then limited edition this, that. So it sounds like you're just getting the extra merch and the wristband.
Yeah.
People are speculating, but obviously saying it as fact, as people do on the internet.
Of
About
course.
you want to buy premium standing because then you're going to get in the front bit. It doesn't look like there's a front bit at the moment, but again, that could change. But that hasn't generally been the way things are.
But yeah, I'd definitely go for standing the first one. But I will want to take my youngest. He'll be, well, I guess he'll be 10, 11 next year, and he's due to be Gallagherified. He hasn't been to a gig yet. I almost took him to Knoll one in December, but I think we were ill. So yeah, my youngest want to go. So yeah, I'd probably get seats if I get to go to another one. But if I'm getting seat, that means I'm going to Cardiff or Wembley. I guess I'm guessing Heaton Park isn't seated.
What do you think? I mean, do you think the ticket prices are fair? Do you think they should have tried to keep them lower, or do you think it's kind of just the way of the world?
Well, it's what I expected. I think the seats are similar prices. The standing, I think Liam's standing were around 90, 100 plus fees. So I think the standing has been raised a bit and is probably warranted. Obviously, you're getting Liam and Noel this time, but the seats are those various VIP things. I think they're similar prices as well. But yeah, just the way of the world. But Liam's was so they can charge it. Liam's was so in demand, even just for Liam's Definitely Maybe tour, which I don't think has a wider mass appeal. You just couldn't get a ticket for that, even on the days of the gig. If someone listed one on Twickets, it was gone. You had to literally click. So you're not going to find any on Facebook Marketplace locally. I don't think it's, even though there's going to be 1.5 million tickets in the end or more. I would expect it's still going to be hard to get hold of them. Touts aside, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people reselling, etc.
No, I think when they come up, like you said, with Twickets, and talking about Twickets, that was a good point I was going to make actually, because there's a lot of talk about, oh well, what's going to happen with the secondary market? Are they going to be thousands? But they have teamed up with Twickets, and so it will be secondary market sale face value, via Twickets, and that is the only way to do it. I think, like, obviously there's always going to be touts and always going to be, that's going to happen. But ultimately, the typical trading is the official secondary provider is through Twickets. And Twickets did get a bit cheeky. So I don't remember them ever charging a fee before, whereas they now do charge a fee, which is fair enough. They've got to run the servers and everything, I suppose. But yeah, they do now charge fees. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, a swap for face value versus paying just whatever the market rate is and it going into the thousands. Absolutely. I think that was really good. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a shame. I mean, yeah, it would have been an incredible gesture if they'd gone, right, tickets, maximum 60 quid. We would have just gone, what? Like, that would have been an incredible, incredible gesture.
yeah,
But it was never going to happen. Like they ultimately, like, they've always been happy to charge money. Like they've always, like I said, they did keep them lower in the very early days, but
yeah.
ultimately these days it's like this is something very, very, very special. They're not going to charge 10 grand, like it's not going to be, oh, we're only going to do one show and every single ticket is 10 grand. That would have been,
Yeah.
wrong. But 150 quid, yeah, I know that, like, that is completely out of reach for a lot of people, but you've got a year, right? You could save, if you're able to save, 20 quid a month for the next year, then you're okay. You know what I mean? So it's not outrageous, like if it was 1,000, you know what I mean? But it is high, I get that. But yeah, I don't think it's outside of what most bands are charging these days anyway. I think someone said in the
No,
Discord, Catfish and the Bottleman was going to be like 85 quid. And it's like, well, if Catfish and the Bottleman's 85 quid, then I think Oasis are fair to charge, 150, to be fair.
But yeah, you mentioned Twickets. That is, something that's really positive that in the last few years that has been put in place. And in case anybody listening doesn't know, Twickets reselling, you resell gigs and tours, and Ticketmaster use that. And I've had maybe a dozen transactions fine on various gigs and used it as well to swap my tickets. I've sometimes sold and got better tickets. The buyers, they do charge fees now, but the buyers pay the fee. So if you're selling, you get your money back, and the buyer is paying Twickets that extra tenner or whatever. So yeah, it's good. And before Twickets, all this was a mess. It was just so open to the touts. But at least now there is that route. Obviously, the touts are still there because while Ticketmaster and Gigs and Tours, the support transfer tickets easily. So if you agree with your mate, he's going to buy your ticket, he'll give you 100 quid. You can transfer to any email address that's got a valid account with Ticketmaster or Gigs and Tours. So it's all set up to work, but there is still that element that you have to log onto your account and transfer it. That isn't taken out of your hands. So that's why there'll always be the Viagogos and whatever that are, they've bought the tickets on an account and they have the power to transfer it when they go on their Ticketmaster. But with Twickets, you've got the backup of the you guaranteed Boo Twickets policy that the transaction's going to go through. If it doesn't, they won't pay out the money, etc. So that's how, like, they hold the money as well. So I did actually have one bad experience this year with it because I booked for the Foo Fighters. Forgive me. Just 2 tickets for the Foo Fighters at Lancashire Cricket Ground, but that ended up being the first day at Co-op Live for Liam as well. So we wanted to go to that. So I sold my Foo Fighters tickets quickly, straight away, like a few months ago, probably at Christmas time, and they went straight away. And then literally a few weeks before the gig, the guy contacted me. So he'd paid through PayPal, etc. It was all good. And then he contacted me saying, "Oh, can you transfer the tickets to my friend? Here's her email address." So I'd already transferred to his, because the Twickets also tell you exactly what to do very clearly. So you have to transfer the tickets to the email address that was used to purchase them on Twickets. And that is kind of in your hands to do. But they emailed me asking, "Can you transfer to my friend?" I was like, "This is a bit sus." And so I checked the policy again, and I knew what it'd be. It says, "Do not transfer to any other address." So I replied saying, "No, I can't do that. Otherwise, I won't get my money from Twickets. I won't get your money, because Twickets hold on to it until after the gig has happened," which is also clever and helps it. And then he started getting shitty with me, saying, "No, this is ridiculous. You can just transfer it. Do me a favor," sort of thing. So I had to separately email, because this is the first time this has happened to me. I emailed Twicket support, and they're really fast. I said, like, I'm holding off on this. Am I doing the right thing? You're not gonna let this guy raise a complaint case or something, and then say, oh, stalemate. The guy gets his money back. They said, no. As long as you have transferred them to him, you have a screenshot of that, and you will get your money regardless of what this guy does. So he eventually gave up emailing me, and it went through, and I sent myself a reminder to check that the money came in from Twickets, and it did. So again, about someone he'd clearly sold the tickets on, thinking he was clever and they're going to resell them again, but the person who's bought them cannot transfer them from the C-Tickets wallet app, so you have to get the person who booked them to do it. So that's why he's asking me to sort of pull them back from him and send them to another person. And that's, don't do that if someone asks you. But this is why there's still, people could still have a bad experience, because you need to know what you're doing as well. But there is a lot more in place than there was 3-4 years ago. So, yay for Twickets. But because whoever's bought the tickets on Ticketmaster to Gigs and Tours still can transfer tickets to another email address, you're still going to get the touts and the Viagogos and things like you're trying to sell tickets on for kind of side hustles for inflated money, not through Twickets.
No, I mean, it was popping up already on Twitter, like, oh, message me for, but it's like, mate, come on, they're not even on sale yet. Like, what are you playing at? Like, it's so ridiculous. But
yeah, and in TikTok comments, you'll get a very attractive young lady saying that she's got spare tickets for an event and you can't go, and it's quite funny. But obviously, people fall for it as well. You just ignore them, or people give the account shit, but they just post on every single video the same thing.
Something else that Brits and Pieces did, actually, which I thought was really interesting. He's sort of broken down. I don't know if he's done this himself or he's broke it down, but some rough stats. So Principality Stadium, Cardiff, 2 shows, 74,500 each. Heaton Park, Manchester, 4 shows, 80,000. Wembley, 4 shows, 90,000. Murrayfield, 2 shows, 67,000. Croke Park, 2 shows, 82,000. Now, those capacities, I think they're more football capacities. I think it's higher than that because you've got the pitch as well. But obviously, I don't know. But yeah, let's assume that's right. Total capacity then is just over 1.1 million. Average ticket prices, therefore, if we assume the average ticket price of 150 quid, the tour would generate around 166 million. And then the average revenue split, artist, but somewhere between 66 and 100 million. Promoter, somewhere between 16 and 33. Venue, somewhere between 16 and 33. And others, like ticketing, production, etc., 16 and 33. So, yeah, so we're saying if they do sell them all out, just ticket sales could be making them, somewhere between, 30 to 100 million. Oh, sorry, so like 30 to 50 million each. I suppose if you just deem Oasis to be Liam and Noel, the artist is Oasis, then they would be getting that much each, which is not a bad kind of summer, is it really?
No. It's on.
It's on, mate. It really, really is.
Yeah, pre-sales next. So as of now, late on Thursday night, nobody's had pre-sale information. So that is the next thing to happen. And I guess when people listen to this, we'll know more. But my email says 9 a.m, so I'll be getting up tomorrow morning, plenty of time just to see if it's come through, as well as sort of getting ready in front of the devices.
We shall see. All right. Well, look, where can the kids find the Oasis reunion?
Yep, it's at the Oasis Reunion on all the channels. So TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. So I'd say join us on TikTok if you've never done it. Why not come over? Although if you want to keep your sanity, maybe don't. But if anyone out there can follow on in any of the others, especially Instagram, I need some more love there. So yeah, the original at the Oasis Reunion.
But you called it, mate. You called it.
Yeah, I always believed.
Because we believe. All right. Well, look, Ryan, thanks so much for your time, mate. Well done again with the Oasis reunion, and thanks for breaking it down. I say it's a good follow because there is a lot of good, interesting stuff being put out there. And yeah, like we said, as we are recording this on Thursday at 10:20 in the evening, That's where we are. It may be different by the time you're hearing this, but yeah, as of right now, thank you for your time, then.
Thank you very much.